Very busy with S.E. Cupp on the line. S.E., good to talk with you.
Good to talk to you.
As Erik Wemple of the Washington Post says, a CNN commentator and NRA Mom, and he seems to be a little concerned about this. S.E.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually on the road right now, driving to Waukesha, Wisconsin, to shoot sporting clays with Governor Scott Walker. I think the funny thing about Erik Wemple's surprise is that he doesn't know this part of my resume, that I am a hunter, a shooter, and I support the NRA. I'm an NRA member, so the fact that I would pose for an NRA Mom's ad should come as no surprise to really anyone in the media. Not to mention the fact that I am an opinion commentator. I am paid for my opinion, and my opinion on gun issues, I think, is pretty well known.
I think it is as well. I got to say, but as I'm reading this piece by Erik Wemple yesterday, he talks about other CNN commentators and some MSNBC. Ed Schultz. You mentioned Ed Schultz. Well, what about Al Sharpton? Right? I mean, doesn't he have the National Action Network?
Al Sharpton, my colleague Van Jones, Newt Gingrich, Stephanie Cutter. You could go down the line. I can't name a single opinion commentator who doesn't also advocate for the causes upon which they voice their opinion. The idea that somehow I should draw a line between voicing my opinion in support of something and then actually going out to support it is absurd. I'm not a reporter. I'm not, trying to pretend to anyone that I am unbiased when it comes to these issues.
Right.
I make my points of view very clear, and so does CNN. CNN, doesn't hide the fact that I'm a conservative who supports the Second Amendment either. So I'm not really sure what the conflict is or
well,
what
let me read what I guess is the heart of his argument. In addition, he says, to compromising the straight shooting news rep that CNN so craves and that many critics so vehemently gainsay, the CNN Cupp position debases the field of opinion journalism. This idea, he says, that somehow a journalist with an opinion can join forces with groups who broadly share that opinion undercuts journalism itself, which stipulates and presupposes a fierce independence from all staked players.
So as he's absolutely right if you were a reporter, but I think it's preposterous to suggest that someone who is paid to give his or her opinion would then not live out support for those opinions.
What he's saying is that you're allowed to give your opinion. If you get paid to give your opinion, that's all you should be able to do. You shouldn't actually be active, right? You should
No donating money to the causes that I say I support. No charity work for the causes I say I support. No advertising, no advocacy. I'm just allowed to say I support the following causes and principles. I mean, what planet is he living on? Not to mention, and I say this with great affection, I don't know that it's possible to further denigrate the field of opinion journalism. We are not, we're not winning Nobel Prizes over here. We're paid to give our opinions. Some of us take that responsibility very seriously. I think others very clearly take it less seriously. But listen, we're not curing cancer. We're giving our opinions on the news of the day and hopefully on issues that matter a great deal to us. So I would question why anyone who has a strong opinion on any issue isn't also an advocate in some way for that issue. What do you live your principles, or do you just talk about them?
Talking with S.E. Cupp, who, again, on her way to shoot sporting clays with Governor Scott Walker. That's a rough gig you have today, S.E.
I know. Well, I have a new web series coming out for CNN.com in collaboration with Field and Stream. called Outside with Insiders. And because I am a known hunter, fisherman, shooting enthusiast, they thought it might be a lot of fun for me to take political influencers out hunting, fishing, and shooting. So I've shot a bunch of these already. They're going to go up over the summer. They are so much fun. It is a great way to talk about politics outside of, the traditional news studio. So I'm loving this assignment. I hope Erik Wemple doesn't find a conflict of interest with it.
Oh, I'm sure this has already inspired another column. And I have to say, and I do have to say, I've complimented Erik Wemple's reporting here on this program before. Generally speaking, I find him to be a really good media reporter. I find this inexplicably weird criticism. I just do.
Let me also say, I'm glad you brought that up, that I like Erik Wemple. I think Erik Wemple is a very good media reporter. I tried very hard to understand the point he was trying to make. I really earnestly wanted to follow his logic because I do think he's good and I think he's fair, which is why I responded to his question. But I still, for the life of me, cannot understand this line of demarcation you're supposed to have between your voicing your opinion and living your opinion. It just doesn't, it's not realistic. It's not plausible. I don't think it's admirable. I think this is the reality. And like I said, if you have an opinion, if you support a cause, go actually support it.
Absolutely. Essie, listen, thanks for joining us today. Thanks for doing what you do. And say hi to Governor Walker for us.
I will. Thanks, guys.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Essie Cupp, CNN commentator, and, yes, NRA Mom here on NRA News Cam and Company.